what I'm here to do today is to kind of give a clearer understanding to those of you who are new to FVM, or if you're not a developer but you're like super interested in all the applications that are being built and you want to know what it's about. I'm here to give you some easy takeaways, and at the end of this session, you should walk out being like, cool, I think I can start developing on FVM if I wanted to. So to help me out, show of hands here, how many of you are familiar with what the FVM is? Cool. And how many of you here are Solidity or have Solidity developers or have deployed a smart contract before? Awesome. Okay. Kind of a half situation, so it didn't really help me out with deciding how I should go on this, but I'll still get you through this. I'll explain conceptually, and then I'll give you some easy tools to show you how the Ethereum-compatible version of the Filecoin virtual machine is available in 2 weeks, and is actually available on the testnet as of today. And you can go back and start coding. So without further ado, let me get started. The Filecoin virtual machine project delivers on-chain programmability to the Filecoin network. What does that actually mean? It means that what you can do is to add programmability around your storage. Right? So that will then enable web-scale solutions. How we see it is very much how you see servers today. You have a whole bunch of data stored in a database in the backend, and then you have all the programmability bits that you built around that data to enable your applications and solutions. As of today, before FVM is launched, right now you can use smart contracts, but you will have to write to storage within your smart contracts. So that is like costly. It's not as performant, but in a native environment with FVM, we foresee that those issues can be resolved. Cool. So why FVM? Let me give some key points about how we think the FVM is a little bit more different and what value it can bring to you. So first of all, it meets developers where they're at. The FVM itself is a polyglot machine. It is using Wasm time under the hood, which means that many different languages that whatever you're comfortable using will then be able to compile to Wasm. Right? So if you're a Python developer, JavaScript, or maybe hold on the Python, but JavaScript, WebAssembly, you can actually use your language that you're comfortable with and then build on the FVM itself. Right? The other thing is around how it's built with multi-chain support in mind. What this actually means is that the FVM is built to be VM agnostic. As of today, we are very excited to launch our Ethereum compatibility in 2 weeks, but after that, everything has been built with a VM agnostic infrastructure in mind. So we should also be able to enable it for other chains like Polygon and so on. And what this means for developers is that you can use all the tooling that you're really familiar with and then deploy it to the FVM itself. So you won't actually see this that much. You would just be able to connect your MetaMask wallet, and I'll show you in a little bit how you can do that. And you can use everything that you're familiar with, Remix, Hardhat, whatever it is, deploy it, and it should go into the Filecoin network, accessing your storage, and having the programmability that you've written in your smart contract. Around fine-grained control, we've also built it a little bit differently, where we spent a lot of time building out, our engineering team has spent a lot of time debating back and forth on how we can make it really controllable for developers in the sense of like low-level system calls using Wasm time. You are able to have much more control over which syscalls you want to call. It's also, everything here is built IPLD native, and what that means is that you will be able to get down to things like checking the state of the actor, checking the state of the account itself, so you will know all these specific details, and then you can decide how you want to change your application, how you want to change your code. That's very much how we see it. And we want to allow that kind of granularity with the FVM itself. So a little bit on the structure over here, just to give you a sense. We have built in, there are a few components over here. We have built-in system actors on the Filecoin network, and that is what the FVM will interact with, and I'll show you a little bit how that happens in a bit. We also have user-defined Wasm actors, so these will be FVM native that comes later in 2023. And then we have the foreign runtimes, which is the Ethereum, the later on maybe the Polygon, and so on, and we hope the community helps us to build that out as well. So we support these 3 different kinds of actors. The ones that developers will be interacting with will be the user-defined Wasm actors and the foreign runtime interacting with the built-in system actors that are on the Filecoin network today. And then everything sits onto the Filecoin node, so if you're wondering like a map of where we are, this is where you will be sitting. The FVM will be sitting on top of a Filecoin node. So a new instance will be created every single time that you deploy the smart contract. Okay, so March 14th, Thiam 4, Pi Day, which is why you see all the emojis there. Coincidentally, our chain ID is also 3141. So 3141 is like a number that you should definitely remember. We will be launching the mainnet Ethereum compatibility. What that means is that we are meeting smart contract devs where they're at. All you EVM developers, we've had multiple hackathons today with the ETH Global crowd. So for those of you that are listening and you've been in our hackathons, you know that how seamless it actually is. You can use we support native Ethereum addresses, so you'll never have to really see any other kind of addresses except for your Ethereum one, even though you are interacting with the Filecoin network. We also support Ethereum accounts. So through account abstraction, we have created a new actor just to represent the Ethereum native account. So your smart contract would not have to start from an externally owned account. It can start directly from the smart contract itself. So we think that that will really increase performance. And then also we have a fully feature-complete Ethereum JSON RPC. You will see that once we have a few hosted endpoints that you can easily tap into so that you don't have to run a node yourself, and that should enable your development much quicker. So why is this such a big difference for developers today? If you run a team of developers, you are a founder, you want to know what's so exciting about this. So for the first time ever, developers are interacting with the Filecoin protocol. Prior to this, according to the Filecoin master plan that Colin shared earlier, we have focused a lot on the storage network and onboarding data itself. This has been largely accomplished by our storage provider network, but the developers have never had to interact with these storage deals, right? You will mostly just code it somewhere else, write your smart contract in EVMs, in Ethereum network, and then write to storage itself. But for now, you will be interacting with the Filecoin protocol directly. And how you can do that, so if you see over here, you have the FVM, you will be calling methods from our built-in actors. So we have a whole bunch of built-in actors that are already on the Filecoin network, and these run a lot of the operations for our storage network. So we have storage market actors that deal with your deals, all the deal operations. We have a miner actor that deals with all the miner operations. So if you're thinking about like withdrawing balance, adding balance, and so on, the FVM and how you write your smart contract will be able to call these methods and interact with these built-in actors for your solution to run. To give an example for the FEVM, and again, because we are VM agnostic, this is just the Ethereum version of it. We're not saying it's only Ethereum. It might be other things, it will be other things in the future. But an example here is that on the FVM, over here we have a Filecoin.sol library. We've actually created a library to enable more seamless interaction with the Filecoin protocol. You would write your FVM in FEVM in Solidity. You would then import the Filecoin.sol library, which was created by one of our partners, Zondex. You can call functions like get balance, add balance on how you want to deal with the different accounts, like the miner accounts and your storage accounts on the network. And then it will call to the built-in actors directly, and that's how you would interact with it. So it should be pretty seamless. You would not really see all this. All you would see is your Solidity code. So that's really the goal over here, and that's why it's such a big, we are really, really excited for all this value that we can bring to developers in the community. I won't go through this too much, but one of the things that we're excited about as well and what the FEVM enables and the FVM enables is that as of today, before FVM came into play, we have a deal-making flow on the Filecoin network, and so this is what storage providers have had to be really focused on. They have to be technically competent. They need to know how all this works, right? So I won't get into this, but a lot of people are involved, right? And it goes on-chain, off-chain, on-chain, off-chain. You have to activate multiple people to get your storage deal made. With FVM, you can actually automate some parts of that. We have two options as of today. One option is the deal bounty contract. So what that does is that you can write a smart contract, you put your bounty in it, and then you wait for a storage provider, for a bounty hunter, or the bounty hunter can be the storage provider themselves, to then see, oh, that's a deal proposal, has money in it, I want to go make the storage deal for this person, I'll pick it up. And then once the deal has been made, I'll send you back the deal ID, and then the developer or the user themselves who has put the smart contract out will never actually have to deal with the deal-making process themselves. So I think that simplifies the flow a lot more, and it also incentivizes people to pick up your deals and to make your deal happen. The other new method, which was actually just enabled last night, and we're super excited. We actually fast-tracked the timeline. My teammate Zach did an amazing demo today on how you can enable this new piece, which is a client contract flow. And so what this means is that no third party is required. Earlier I mentioned you have in the previous example, you have the user, you have the developer, you have the bounty hunter, and then you have the storage provider. In this case, you will only have to put it into a smart contract, and the smart contract will go make the deal with the storage provider themselves. These two methods are really good for very different use cases. So in the previous method, if let's say you are part of a DAO, you have data, you have a designated storage provider that will pick up your bounty and make the deals happen, that is a great process for that to ensure that your data is stored. But if let's say you want to automate a lot of these processes and you have like a constant determined flow of data that's coming in, let's say you want to monitor traffic, this would be great for backing up your data. So the data will come in, it would then batch all that data because it already knows how often all that data comes in. It sends it to the storage provider, and if you have a designated storage provider to then make all those deals happen, it can quickly back up your data depending on the cadence that you set. So these are both really great options for different use cases, and we think that that's going to change the way that the Filecoin network provides value today. So I'm going to run through a few tools. I know it's been a mouthful on the technical part. I hope that it gave you a better sense of what the FVM is and what it can do and what it actually means for the technical side of things. Some tools, if you're a developer, we have a hyperspace testnet that is ready. This is a network that will not change. We're not going to change it after mainnet, and we also will rarely reset it. We might upgrade it from time to time, maybe one reset in every 3 to 4 months, but it's a stable developer testnet. So if you want to try your applications, definitely head to the Hyperspace testnet and try it out. We have mock miners over there that will make deals with you. So if you don't actually have to test it in the mainnet and then know like, oh, did my deal proposal go to the storage provider and does my application work? If you test it over here, the deals will be made automatically and your application can be tested from there. We also have block explorers and hosted endpoints. A few examples here, but I didn't put the URLs here because it's hard to like key into your phone. But we have block explorers, about 5 to 6 of them as of today. We have Glyph, we have Barracks from Zondex, we have Starboard, Philfox, and so on. We have a lot more block explorers that are coming up, and these are all FEVM compatible. So once we launch the mainnet, these should be able to allow you the same capabilities that you see with Etherscan today. We also have hosted endpoints. We have partners like Chainstack and Glyph, and these are what I talked about earlier on. So if you don't want to set up a node yourself, you can always go and use these endpoints directly. Filecoin and MetaMask, just highlighting over here that it's really seamless for you to connect your MetaMask wallet to the Hyperspace testnet, and we hope that the same we're building it such that the same process will be enabled once we launch the mainnet. You can simply go onto Chainstack. With 2 clicks, you will get your wallet connected to the Filecoin network and with your MetaMask wallet. And then familiar tooling like Remix, Hardhat, these are all toolings that you can now use as an Ethereum developer. Again, we've had hundreds and hundreds of hackathon projects that have come out of this, so really easy to go build if you're an Ethereum developer today with FVM. So yeah, all in all, that's like in a nutshell, everything that you can do with FVM. I hope I give you a little bit more knowledge on that. But here's a link tree to everything that you want to get started with FVM if you want to get started building today. And we'll be around, and we'll see you around ETH Denver. We hope to give more demos on how you can actually build what we showed here today. But we're really excited to see all of you in the upcoming hackathon. Thank you.